Hello, this is the Honors Imperialism and World War I special extra information for the test. And as you can see here, oh wait a minute, I gotta get the my desk scribble thing up here. All right, there we go. As you can see, we have the same questions as on the other podcast that you watched. And one difference is a little more emphasis on the revolution. So the regular classes are just being asked to know that there was a revolution and its impact on the war. You're asked to know a little bit more about how did the revolution relate to the events of the war and the events of the peace. But the big areas are imperialism, what factors led to the outbreak of war, and what were the key issues at the Paris Peace Conference. So these are the big areas of concern or interest, or to me at least on the test. Your essay will deal with tracing the events of June 28 and even beyond, to these issues here. We call these the long fuse notes. So make sure that you have these conditions that since the Concert of Europe created by the Congress of Vienna way back when Napoleon was defeated, that was that reactionary movement to kind of restore the monarchies back to power after Napoleon, after the French Revolution. And so even starting that late, there are a number of events that lead to war. And we looked at principally this idea here of nations and states. That was a huge part of that. And then we also, another one, I'll write it up here since we're out of room, this idea of rational, let's write that right, rational borders. It's hard to write with this pen. This idea of rational borders. And mania, of course, and these are the notes that I also described in the other video. So these are extra things that you need to be aware of that the regular students do not. You notice in the other video that the regular students had a few more things to remember about Gandhi, but really what I'm asking you to do is to remember the key points of the video, the Amritsar massacre that you saw, and then the two main modes of economic protest, peaceful nonviolent protest, spinning thread and making cloth, and then also making salt and so on. All right, so that's your extra bit, and then the other extra bit is over here, and that is in this section here. And I'm asking you to remember a couple different things here, actually three: Mensheviks, Bolsheviks, and then red and white Russians. So the Tsar is overthrown, and in this revolution, the March 1917 revolution, and of course they leave the war, and then the implications for that. Then there is kind of a battle for the heart and soul of the Russian Revolution. Everybody is a Marxist. Everybody here is a Marxist, but they're different flavors. The Mensheviks are the majority of the Marxists, even though, and this is where some funny historical business comes in, even though their name Mensheviks means minority and Bolsheviks means majority. But in fact, the Mensheviks were more numerous than the Bolsheviks. So you can guess, the Bolsheviks, the minority, called themselves Bolsheviks in order to give a sense that really they were the larger group. These are the true radicals. These guys believe in a revolution that can be started at will, basically. They believe revolution is something that can be manufactured and created and kind of started at a particular point, led by what they would call revolutionary elite. Whereas the Mensheviks believe that the revolution will kind of naturally occur. You really can't force it. And it will be kind of a ground-up movement, not a ground-up like coffee or something, ground from the ground up. movement, and you really can't force it. But the Bolsheviks believe that no, this is something that you can actually instigate and have and kind of plan. And so it's guided by a revolutionary elite, and the leader of this revolutionary elite is Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, and then another guy's name that you may know is Stalin. Later on, you'll come to know him better. All right, well, the battle for the hearts and souls starts here, but ultimately it's expressed here, is that there's a civil war that breaks out in Russia, 1918, I think it carries over into 1919. And that's a battle between the Reds and the Whites. The Reds are the Bolsheviks, and the Whites are people who want to return to the old way. Some of them are Tsarists, so some of the Whites are supporting the Tsar, but some of the Whites are also Western European countries, democracies like England and France, I believe, and then even the United States sends soldiers to support the White Russians. And there's some pretty awful fighting on both sides. Both sides use some pretty grim tactics, but ultimately the Reds win, and that history is written. And so the revolution starts in 1917, 1918. They're on a different calendar, so sometimes you'll see different dates. And that goes all the way till 1991, when the Soviet Union ceases to be. All right, that's pretty much the extra bit of information that you need. Good luck for the test.